those who would bear the hopes and future of our people, let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. Greetings to the people, comrades, sisters, and brothers. General Field Marshal Sin speaking. The Seminese War Council, the court of the people, has just finished hearing tapes and reading some of the news reports and statements made by the Hearst family concerning the arrest of Patricia Campbell Hearst. In the court's second tape by Patricia, it was stated that any good faith gesture on the part of the Hearst Empire would be basically okay. We, however, understand that Patricia wants to come home as soon as possible, and that this statement could be misinterpreted as meaning that an untrue gesture of good faith and regret would be accepted by the people. And this is not the case. Therefore, at the end of that tape statement by Patricia, I myself, by the direction of the court, saved the feelings of the court and thereby clarified the request of the people. That statement reads as follows. We wish to clarify what your daughter has said about our request for a good faith gesture on your part. The people are awaiting your gesture. You may rest assured that we are quite able to assess the extent of your sincerity in this matter, and we will accept a sincere effort on your part. We are quite able and aware of the extent of your capabilities, as we are also aware of the needs of the people. The Hearst Empire has attempted to mislead the people and to deceive them by claiming to put forth a good faith gesture of $2 million. This amount is not at all a good faith gesture, but rather is an act of throwing a few crumbs to the people, forcing them to fight over it amongst themselves. We have held a court hearing concerning both the actions of the enemy Hearst family and the Hearst Empire as a whole and the media and their combined response to the gesture of good faith. We have chosen first to expose a sampling of the extent of the Hearst Empire, which includes the Hearst Foundation, the Hearst Corporation Empire, and Mr. and Mrs. Hearst's personal assets. The assets of the Hearst wealth include the following: a silver mine and thousands of acres of land in Mexico, land acreage in Hawaii, and 70,000 acres of timberland in Northern California valued at millions of dollars, a cattle ranch near San Luis Obispo, orange groves in Florida, a duck club and rice paddies outside of Marysville, California, small land holdings and homes in Hillsborough, New York, and San Diego, each valued at well over $1.5 million. 2. Personal stocks. Large interests in IBM, Beatrice Foods, Exxon, the Sugar Bowl Corporation, and Safeway stores, United Airlines, and Hughes Airways, and huge holdings in drug companies, orange industries, paper companies, lumber companies, and cattle ranches. 3. Miscellaneous personal items, a collection of antique paintings, Chinese screens, and Greek vases. 24 vases, each valued at $10,000 each. A collection of Oriental rugs given to him by his personal friend, the Shah of Iran. The family has also received numerous gifts over the years from other longtime personal friends, such as Howard Hughes. The Hearst Foundation. The Hearst Foundation is a front for the Hearst fortune. The foundation serves as a tax loophole for that fortune. The foundation donates an estimated $3 million yearly to established charities to maintain its legal status as a foundation. The $1.5 million proposed to be coming from the foundation is nothing more than half of what that foundation is legally required to donate annually in order to maintain its foundation status. The assets of the Hearst Corporation have been stated many times. However, I will restate them again as some specific factors. As we all know, the Hearst Corporation is composed of a chain of magazines and newspapers. However, I wish to point out two specific ones for examples. Cosmopolitan magazine reaps profits of $7 to $8 million per year. Another is House Beautiful, which reaps profits of $3 to $4 million a year. The Hearst Corporation is also composed of, as mentioned before, a chain of TV stations and feature film industries, also ownership of lumber companies, and partnership in large stock holdings in General Motors as well as land holdings in each of the cities where its newspaper chains operate. For example, ownership of one square block in downtown New York City, with the land alone valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, as well as land and buildings in England, Australia, and Europe. In total, the Hearst Empire, along with Mr. and Mrs. Hearst's personal wealth, does in fact run into the hundreds and hundreds of millions. Even if Mr. Hearst were to give all of that to the people, with the personal firms like the Shaw Iran and Howard Hughes, he would suffer no losses. However, even if Mr. Hearst were to give all of that to the people, he could never pay the people back for the past losses of their children in freedom, nor for the current suffering they are now under. We also wish to point out that when necessary, the enemy can adjust its laws to correspond to its interests at any given time. It is in the direct interest of Mr. Hearst to comply with the demand for food, not because he finds it necessary to feed the people, but rather because he must secure and protect one of his possessions, his daughter Patricia. Thus, he finds a way to change the supposedly flexible laws which allows him to distribute charitable rather than ransom goods. In the same vein, when the state and enemy corporations wish to aid such countries as South Africa, the Philippines, South Vietnam, or Ireland in securing brutal dictatorships which rob and murder the people, no existing laws are honored and no one responsible goes to prison for the rest of their lives. This is exemplified in the Watergate scheme and the U.S. deliberate violation of the United Nations sanctioned international embargo of Rhodesian goods. On the other hand, any time the interests of the people are at hand, there is an enemy law to counteract those interests, and of course the people are forced to abide by them. In understanding this, we come to understand why the U.S. has more prisons and the largest numbers of laws to control the people that have ever been recorded in the history of humans on this earth. These laws are created to imprison the people and by that protect the rich from the poor. The plan proposed by Mr. Hearst is not at all acceptable as a gesture of good faith in its present form. It shall be acceptable only insofar as it totally meets the specifications listed in the following. 1. That an additional $4 million be added to the $2 million already allotted, making a total of $6 million to be used for the purchase of food. We recognize that at wholesale prices available to Mr. Hearst and his designated Peoples in Needs charity organization, he will be able to feed all who come to receive food. We specify wholesale prices here because we do not intend for Safeway or any other supermarket to make a profit from feeding the poor, nor do we intend for this to be another program which subsidizes the food industry. 2. That this total $6 million figure be dispersed to the cities of San Francisco, Oakland, and East Palo Alto. That an adequate number of distribution centers be made available to the various communities in these cities: San Francisco, Mission District, Chinatown, Hunters Point, the Western Addition, Oakland, East and West, Palo Alto, East Palo Alto. 3. That all food distributed be of top quality, and that all canned goods and dry foods, be matched with an equal amount of top quality fresh meats, dairy products, and produce, and that no attempt be made to distribute garbage or crows or surplus storage foods or government commodities to the people. 4. That $70 be given over a 1-month period to each family coming to receive food. That is, by the end of 1 month's time, a total of $70 of food will have been given to each family. This is to be done during the first month of the operation of the program. If this means problems with food storage at the distribution centers, then it will be of necessity to have mean the expansion of the number of centers, as well as the number of days and hours that the centers are open. It has always been the intention of the SLA and the core of the people that a substantial number of families in at least several communities be able to receive an amount of food during this 1-month period that would meet some of their needs, and in addition assure that the people get something more than another extended program which could be abandoned by the Hearst at any time without the people having ever really received anything. For we have no basis on which to formulate a trust that an enemy of the people could truly extend a gesture for 1 year or for any ongoing process. Further, it is the decision of this court that $6 per month for a year is in no way as beneficial as $70 for 1 month. 5. No name should be taken or any other form of identification or any addresses from any peoples who come to receive food. Any people who come to receive food shall get it. There shall be absolutely no questionnaires, form, or any other type of program processing which peoples coming to get food shall have to go through, and that no form of identification or verification of need other than a simple verbal request for food shall be required. 6. That members of the coalition of people's community organizations and groups be made up of not only the 6 examples organizations named, but any people's organization who wish to participate, with San Francisco's Western Addition Project Area Committee, known as WAPAC, acting as chairman, if they so desire, and that this coalition acts solely in the capacity of observers and coordinators and not negotiators between the SLA combat forces and Mr. Hearst, to see to it that the aged and disabled receive their food and ways to transport it and shopper it, and to see to it that no police agents in or out of uniform are allowed to be in the areas of food distribution or photograph or harass the people. And that is to be the leadership of the coalition who shall see to it that the distribution centers are run in the true spirit of revolutionary cooperatives with no bureaucratic overseers or hirelings in the people's distribution centers. 7. That we hereby request that the San Francisco Western Addition Project Area Committee, known as WAPAC, is hereby designated, if they accept this request, as chairman of the coalition and does hold full veto power in the actions and activities of the coalition. We request this and ask this because that organization's example of showing the people that they serve only the interests of the people and that they desire to feed the people by any means necessary, and that they did not compromise the needs of the people for the sake of their leadership positions or for the sake of their organization, but rather, without being requested, step forward to show themselves to be in the interest of the people. 8. That this tape and a transcript of it be published and printed in full, omitting nothing, in all forms of the media. 9. That the total amount of $6 million be allotted to your designated Peoples in Need or Charity organization within 24 hours of receipt of this order, and that the food be available to the people within 1 week of receipt of this order. Should this order be rejected, all further communications shall be suspended, and the prisoner will be maintained according to the terms of international codes of war concerning prisoners of war, and will be maintained in that status until such time as the status of our captured soldiers is changed. Should any attempt be made to rescue the subject prisoner or to injure or capture our captured soldiers, the subject is to be executed immediately. 10. Once we see compliance with these specifications and the program well underway, then, as we have previously stated, we will begin negotiations for the release of your daughter. The Court of the People also wishes to state that we understand the position of different political organizations requested by the court to oversee the distribution of food. We understand that refusal to participate is partially due to the inherent dangers placed upon the leadership or the organization as a whole when affiliated with the SLA is stated. We also feel that it is partially due to a lack of understanding of the common enemy, as well as a desire to accept reform and revisionism, which are pacifiers against true change and revolution. But for those who do see the necessity to participate in this action and who do recognize the needs of the people, we again state that we are asking only that you function as coordinators and observers for the distribution of food, and that you are not to serve as liaisons, spokesmen, or negotiators for the SLA unless clearly defined as such by writing or by tape. In our previous communiques, we called upon all community groups, including certain specific ones, to act as observers and coordinators. There are basically 3 stances these groups can show to the people. 1. Some stand with the people and actively accept the responsibility of working and fighting for the people. 2. Others don't stand at all. 3. Some stand and then slide up next to the enemy's power.